Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hi!
And this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we know what that means. Mark got some actually good coffee, so we're not drinking that swill we've been having. Um, and almond milk and a little sweetener. So far so good. It's a little late in the day because our fair lady, Chantal Marie Foodie Beauty Big Beautiful Me, has been live and is right now live as I'm filming for 2.5 hours. And she's moved on from edibles and has gone on to red wine. So it continues. But we're gonna go back, see where we left off, and try to pick up. It wasn't a super busy week. There's this live where I took some notes, and there was another. Now, I am aware, Mark and I went live last night, and thank you for everyone who showed up. It was a good time. We had a really nice, easy breezy chat. There was 90 to 100 folks who stopped by, and it was cool. So I was made aware of a couple different strands of drama that were happening within YouTube. I understand that Amberlynn Reed is having a health scare. I understand that there was some bickering among Hater Nation and some reactors about response to that. Who's defending who? I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know that I want to, but I got a little bit of the gist of it back and forth. So, we're going to go forward with what we usually do, and we're going to do our week in review of our fair lady. So, picking up, of course, all that other crap's going to intersect with this. We'll touch on it briefly, but where we have left off, she was crushing her goals last week, and crushing my hopes, because her means of crushing the goals were dissipating as the week went on. She was actually getting outdoors, walking outdoors, not just driving. She got called fat by a couple French guys in a canoe, I guess. Well, French Canadians. And that kind of stuck in her craw, so she talked about that a little bit. And the last video was an ER story time, because she had a cyst or a boil or something in her back right where her bra strap hit, and she had to go get it drained, lanced, and packed, I guess, and she told that story while eating potato salad. Can't really look at potato salad the same way now. Not because it's her, just because of the, she likes her TMIs with her food, and it's a strange relationship has been made in my mind at the moment. So, next video, eating the best seafood Alfredo at a haunted pioneer village. Okay. Now, before we go throwing around the word the best, or authentic, because the word authentic means almost nothing, I think I know where to get the best Cantonese food. It's in my hometown 2 blocks away. I think it's the best, probably because it's what I grew up with, it's what I'm used to, and it's the standard with which I compare all other Asian Chinese food. So whether this is the best, I don't know. But she ate it like it was the best damn in the world. The fork was slowing her down. She had the little plastic fork and she wanted a metal one. I can't eat pasta with a plastic fork either. I'm not mad at her. But she went for a drive to go to this place. It was closer to, I think, her hometown than where she lives now with Pete's. And I like the country drives through rural Canada. I think they're cool. I know, like, 100 people would watch her channel if that's all she did. But I think they're a nice addition. She slept in because she goes to bed at, like, 6:30 in the morning. That's late. I mean, I know she makes her own schedule, and a lot of stuff happens probably if she's talking about being online and keeping on track of social networks and where she has all her stuff placed and posted. She might have to do that into the wee hours of the morning. But then sleeping in from 6:30 till, like, when? If you want to get 8 hours, that puts you up at, like, what, 3, 4 in the afternoon? Something like that? 2, 3 in the afternoon? So, I don't know. She's in the car. This car is looking really, she looks uncomfortable in the car. I suspect, no hate, that because she's bigger around the middle, she probably has to push the seat all the way back. Which is nothing wrong with that, that's why seats go back. But she mentioned later not being able to have, she doesn't, not able, she didn't say not able. She doesn't have her tray with her, that she usually has, like, about eye level. I suspect that tray may not fit comfortably even at eye level at a certain point, just because, for the same reason I don't drive a Geo Tracker. They don't even make Geos. A Chevy, Tracker or anything like that. I'm 6 feet tall. It probably wouldn't be comfortable because I'm too tall for the vehicle. There's just certain features that don't make it comfortable for a person of my size. So it's something to notice, I think. I don't think it's unkind to notice that if a person's vehicle might not be ergonomically designed for their specific physical nuances, we'll say. So she's having a grande s'mores cappuccino and she's driving and looking for a bathroom and driving. She had nothing to eat since midnight last night, which is not crushing the goal of keeping yourself with a few meals going so we don't get too hungry. But, that's, again, something she's working on. And then comes out the fettuccine with the seafood in it. And we are warned, sternly, with a disclaimer. Just because she's eating something not so healthy in her car doesn't mean it's a binge. It is not a binge. The binge eating, according to her, usually happens off camera. And it's the kind of binge where you're going through, like, the condiments with a spoon, all the jams and jellies. You don't eat the pet food, but you think about it. That kind of thing. And to her, that's a binge, and that's for something for her to work on with her therapist and doctors as needed. The same people last week who she said don't know what they're talking about and she doesn't like seeing. So she's not working it out with them. She's kind of doing her own thing, which has been fluctuating day to day. Last week there was like a vegan day and a keto day and a portion control day and whatever way the wind blows kind of day. So that was where things kind of left with that. Binge? I don't know. Let me think into my eating disorder Rolodex, because I've had some experiences. I don't have a perfect relationship with food. I've used it and have gotten very obese, and I've used it and I've shrank. So, there's different relationships we all have with food. I'm thinking of like the McDonald's mukbangs, where it's like the extra Mac sauce, the Big Mac, the fries, and the 10-piece nuggets, and the ice cream. And it's eaten within a half an hour period. I think, if I recall, with binge eating disorder, one of the things that determines the severity of it, one of the bigger things for severity, is the frequency during a week with which one does it. So that kind of gets us all off the hook for Thanksgiving. Like, you can eat when you're not hungry, and you can eat till you're too full, and you can eat till you almost make yourself... I mean, you can. You probably shouldn't, but it's notoriously a day when people do. Or like Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. But for a person with binge eating disorder, apparently this happens more and more and more often. And that's when I think of like those mukbangs on a roll type thing, when it's like boom, 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 one day after another after another. That's when it's like the intersection of YouTube, greed, gluttony, spite, hunger, and maybe some gummies all come together. So I'm just saying, she is lit up this week, and I have to say, I'm here for it. I'm liking it.
Me too.
She thinks the rest of the world would be a happier place. This would be a lot happier of a channel. I'm right here for it. I have concerns, but I'm here for it. So going to get this food, she had to pass by her French lover's house. I think people remember the story of the French lover, who I can only picture as some old greasy lech that, would give her the time of day. She makes the point also that, different strokes, different folks. There are men who aren't concerned about a person's appearance. There are people that like fuller-sized women. She also says that he was picky about her weight, though, too, and that she's much larger now than she was when they were frequenting each other. But because she's feeling a little lonely, and because apparently he used to try to hook up with her, text her, get in touch with her while she was with BB, and she was like, I got a man. So now she's thinking she may follow up with it, though she thinks he may be in jail. So, I don't know. But, I find it suspicious that she would tolerate a guy who was picky about her weight. I mean, in the back of my mind, I think of the portrait of poor, needy, desperate for approval, will put up with more crap than maybe some other people would, because they want the attention. But Chantal doesn't portray herself as that type of person. She seems to want to put off an air that she's a little more confident and wouldn't be treated so poorly. So it surprises me that even if this is true, she would say it out loud, that a guy would be critical of her weight, you know, she's kind of always fathomed herself as like a bit of a sex kitten in a lot of these stories. Granted, she told a few where she's the third wheel, but, you know, a lot of times she's the vixen, you know. She said she'd rather hook up with a guy who's into heavier women. Well, I can see why. She's a heavier woman. And it would probably be easier. I had a friend in college who was generously proportioned. And she said there was, you know, a couple differences. There's men who don't care that seriously about a person's looks, about a woman's looks. And it's a non-issue. And then there's other men who kind of fetishize it. And it's another way of being objectified as like a sex object. So it's not that they like bigger women. It's they like... It's kind of an I don't even know how to think of it. It's a fetish. It's like a thing. It's they like you because you're fat. Meaning if you got into a relationship with them and you lost weight, they might leave because they don't like skinny women. You see the distinction? So that took me way too long to come to. I'm sorry. But that was kind of what I was aiming at there. So then she goes to the haunted village, and there's like 2.5 minutes of footage of her looking for ghosts and taking a creepy drive down a road. So essentially she bought her favorite meal, pulled into a abandoned place, ate it in the car, and did a little bit of her darting. So, next, Pizza and I tried Little Caesars Pizza for the first time mukbang. Now, we had a Little Caesars when I was growing up around here. It was embedded into the local Kmart. That's the only place you could get it. And I remember the breadsticks were good. I also think the pizza was probably about $4 back then. It was very inexpensive. It's the kind you get for like a kid's birthday party or something. So it was like, you know, Domino's. It was like the chain pizza. And he used to have the Little Caesar guy with the thing, and the pizzas would flip and land on it. I remember it very clearly now. Do you remember Little Caesars?
Oh, I remember Little Caesars. Pizza,
Mm-hmm.
pizza.
Pizza, pizza. We don't have one around here, I don't think.
I mean, it's alright.
It's food.
Yeah.
It's crust, there's cheese, there's sauce. It's loose leaf pizza, you know.
It's real cheap. I remember that.
It's cheap, that's what it is. So they start out this video, like most, with cat footage. They get a stuffed crust 3-meat pizza, and she's trying to shift to the mentality of, I can't have pizza, to, I'm going to have a couple slices, and it's no big deal, and that's that. So again, we get a brief disclaimer of how we're supposed to interpret this as don't come for me. The goal right now, my 1-month goal, is no binging, and the weekly goal is we're only going to go out once a week. And I think when she says go out, I'm guessing they also mean only order in once a week, because I guess they do that a lot. And they're going to hold each other accountable, right, Pete's? It reminds me of... Never mind. You're looking for someone to co-sign your crap, you know, as though there's some oversight to this. As if anyone's going to... Chantal is a very stubborn woman. If she does or doesn't want to do something, I don't think she's going to be told otherwise. I really don't. Especially not by Pete's. Of all people, Pete's is going to put his foot down? I don't see it happening. As of right now, she's been up for about 2.5 hours, and she's had some edibles and a glass of wine. Not passing judgment, everyday Sunday when you work from home like that. I understand. But, you know, it's quite the contradiction. Like, I don't think Bibi drank, and I don't remember her having that kind of stuff around the house when she was with him. And all of a sudden, it's like, party girl, you know. Again, I'm here for it. This is a much softer Chantal. This is a little crass, but with the edges smoothed out, you know. At any rate, the pizza was finger-licking good, just like it was anything else she was eating. They were talking about live-action musicals. Pete's, of course. Now, Pete's and his niche interests, comic books and weird animated stuff. He was talking about, what was it, Aladdin, where it was like Will Smith who played the genie. And it's always, okay, here's Pete's talking about whatever. And here's Chantal. Oh, wow. That's amazing. As if to say, is he ever going to shut up? I hope he's not ruining this video for me. And she doesn't think that way about Pete's, I don't think. And she doesn't feel that way towards Pete's. And I really don't think she thinks he's doing anything bad in the video. But the expression she throws at the camera certainly expresses that to me. It looks like, ugh, I'm so bored, I hope he shuts up soon. Which is weird. Like I said, I don't think she feels that way towards him at all, but that face isn't helping. It looks not so much. Update on Timbit, Pete's cat, who was a little bit older and needed some health care, veterinary care that I guess was lacking for a while. The cat has one of those things like this. It's so sad. It's sad on dogs and cats, and needed some work on its back paws, so it's got little like socks up to its joints. On the mend, apparently. So, and it has feline leukemia too. So I guess it just still stays in Pete's room. The review of the pizza, because I was very concerned, was that it was good for chain pizza. Pizza reviews are always, it's good, it's not bad. He reminds me of my brother in that way, kind of. It's good, it's not bad, it's okay. You know, very few words. My father's like that too, very few words. So the updates of what she's been up to, because she was hit or miss with videos this week, there was only like 3 or 4, and then a couple live streams. She's been binge watching Netflix and stuff on TV. She has a schedule of home health nurses coming in to change the packing on her open sore in her back. Pete will be working from home now permanently. So he won't be going into the office, such that there was an office. I guess maybe he was working home for COVID or whatever, and now he's going to be there all the time, which is, you know, there you go. So now they're both working from home. This is going to get interesting. This is going to get very interesting. So she's not going to be any sort of specific kind of channel now, too. That's the vibe. It could be cooking, it could be talking, it could be lives, it could be a sort of mukbang, not sort of a mukbang. It could be adventures with Pete's. It could be a road trip. So it's more of her, she's more of a network, really, than a channel. And I don't say that to be derogatory. It's that there's just different pockets of content because she doesn't have, like, one big audience. She said, and I totally think she's right, everybody has a little bit, like, 70,000 subscribers. Let's say 20,000 tune in for this, and 50,000 tune in for that, and this many tune in for this, and she's got to try to juggle all those plates to keep the views coming in. It's challenging, but, you know, we all kind of build our own channels, so... And she does it fairly well. Her channel's growing. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. So then there's a live. And apparently there's not much documentation that I was able to find on this, but she had had some edibles and did a little chatting. I couldn't find too much more interesting about it, other than that she talked about dating apps and how she doesn't really feel like she could use those. She was afraid she'd be doxxed, like, stuff like that. Her name is out there as far as I knew, but... So next, cooking and eating homemade beef stew and French bread, wine and dine. So she cooks by feel, and then she kind of slides in there. Both Pete's and her have had some edibles, so they're a little high. Pete's thinks he isn't, which is cute, because he's wrecked in this video. He's shot out. Cooking looks good. I like Chantal's cooking. I would eat anything she made. I think she's clean in the kitchen. I don't see what looks like dirty kitchen, cross-contamination. It looks like she cooks in a clean place.
Except for them cats all over the
Okay, the cat's on the counter, all right. Assuming she bleaches the kitchen first, but I don't see her, like, cutting raw chicken and then going over to cut an onion. I mean that kind of thing. Aside from the, you know, eating cat shit thing. So Chantal was likes telling her stories, okay. About her past, about past lovers, about, you know, her times traveling across Canada as a volunteer. Like, she has all these larger-than-life stories. And I think a third of them are real, like her trip across Canada. And some of them aren't, like her many sexcapades. Pete's chimes in. Now, Pete's lives in the house, and Pete's is under the influence. So he throws out an anecdote that she cuts off quickly about how she kind of would drink cheap wine and pass out in his basement. Now, I thought, like, Boone's Farm, the cheapest you could get. Maybe Manischewitz. So, she kind of was like, oh yeah, those were the days, and cuts it off and keeps going. So Pete's has one of the things that Pete's has going for him is that he has years of knowing Chantal. Years. If anybody knows the real Chantal, it's probably Pete's. Probably more than her family, even, I would think, too. So, Pete thinks he's not feeling the edibles, which is cute, I suppose. And then they BS'd about some stuff while they ate. The beef stew looked thick, but it looked good. Again, I would eat probably almost anything Chantal cooked, sans cat litter. Clean the counters, and I would love to come for dinner. You would never invite me, and I can't leave the United States at the moment. I don't think most of us can. Because the border's still closed. But, you never know. So then there's a live, which I think is still going on right now as I'm watching it. It started about 2 hours and 45 minutes ago. There was a break and it restarted. So I'm just going to give you some highlights of some of the things that came up here. She's got the THC, CBD, I forget, some oil spray. It's a sublingual you put under your tongue. She put it on top of her tongue and then later under. So she's feeling a little good, waiting to feel good anyway. And the first comments that come up are about Amberlynn Reid. Now, this was all news to me that I had to go back and find out because I don't follow Amberlynn Reid. And I actually don't watch reactions about Amberlynn Reid because I don't know what anyone's talking about because I don't follow Amberlynn Reid. So I had found out from here and then doing some research that she's in the middle of a health scare. That she had something happen, I guess OBGYN issue, went to the ER, got it checked out, had to have a procedure done. She's home, but there's some test results pending, and she's concerned about the outcome of it. I'd be concerned if I was Amber, too. She has a lot of risk factors. You know, I'd be concerned. It's a concerning situation. And so Chantal shared that she'd been in touch with Amberlynn, and they had, you know, spoken, and Amberlynn did find out she has COPD. Probably had it for a while, but she was diagnosed with it. So Chantal gave her the plug for getting the CPAP, which, you know, Chantal swears by. She's had it for years. So, and you can die from COPD, among other things, and other comorbidities. Any health issue is magnified when a person's really, really big. The risk of going under from anesthesia is serious. So that came up during the live. So that was all news to me. I had to go track down. And then the drama in Hater Nation, I had to track down of who's fighting with who over what. I don't know exactly. Square all that against, I live in the United States, stuff that's happening in real time at the moment. In the real world off of YouTube. Not Amberlynn Reid. Her problems are real. That's her real life. That would be happening to her whether she had a YouTube channel or not. So that's kind of like a real thing. But like we're dealing with folks in the streets and civil unrest and a pandemic and other stuff going on. So when you square one drama against another, some of it seems quite petty. But I think a lot of folks have been living on social media for particularly for the last few months, if they've been occupying their time with it, and may feel a bit more invested and a bit more sensitive about some things than maybe they would have before. So I think feelings are getting hurt a lot easier from what I've seen from people between reactors and to each other, and it just seems I'm glad I'm a little further back away from it, frankly. I'm glad about that. You know, I do reviews, not reactions, thank God. So I can just check in once a week and say, here's what went on, and here's what I agreed with, and here's what made no sense to me at all. And we'll see you next week. try to keep it as far away from that as I can. But continuing with her live, Chantal gave her 2 cents also about current events going on in the U.S. right now, rioting and that kind of stuff. She was supposed to be doing another cooking video tonight. It looks like right now she is still live and doing some of the cooking right now. The falling out of the reaction community, again, talking about folks turning on themselves and people backing down about making reactions in light of recent events. It's really too complicated for me. It's really hard to keep track of. And it's weird, because, like, we aren't a big channel at all. We're small for even a small channel. And when we watch other people, we start to feel like we know them, too, you know? It's like, I feel like I know Chantal because I watch her during the week, and then I react to her on weekends. So I feel like I know her, and I don't feel unfavorably towards her. I just think some of her choices are odd, and probably not in her own best interest, which is what I find odd. You know, and I relate to because I've made thousands of choices not in my own best interest and defended all of them tooth and nail at one point or another. So that's where I kind of meet with her. I don't know. She's still live. I'm still looking at her. She's still up here. And her eyes are like this right now. So, as the live stream went on, she thought, am I hungry? No. Wait! And then she had some chocolate. She went on about doctors and what she should be eating, and how her eating disorder doctor and her regular doctor are fighting with each other. She's just going to have to find what works for her. Apparently Amberlynn did pop in to the chat briefly. I don't know that she talked much. Amberlynn Chantal didn't bring her up, but I remember being in a live once before where somebody popped in, I think Zachary Michael or somebody, and Chantal welcomed them, but then very quickly shut the chat down, because I think she realized it wasn't going to be about her. It wasn't going to be her chat anymore. They were going to be talking to the other person. So, and that was it. And I think she said in the middle of that one, I got an hour and a half in before I had to shut it off. The fact that it's still going on is just, I can't believe. I should start doing all my videos high. I'm right there for that, Chantal. I would totally watch that. It's perfectly fine. This smooths out the edges of Chantal for me. It takes the rough part off of it. Yeah, go for it. I'll raise a glass of Clamato to that. Why not? So, So where do we go from here? Mark?
Yes.
Can you come in here, please?
Yes.
So.
Yes.
This is Mark's hand, everybody. Where do you see this going with Chantal? Because I think, you know how she has the cycles of where she diets and then she binges and then she does well and then she doesn't. This new substance use thing is different. Yeah. And I'm not opposed to it because, well, it's legal where she is.
Right.
And she's an adult and she can do what she wants. Yeah. And as long as she can deal with the consequences. But, you know, edible, like, it's not good for an eating disorder to be high all the time.
No, it is absolutely not.
It's really, really not. Not that I have experienced this at all, but you get kind of hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hungry you'll eat the couch.
Yeah.
Any guesses on which direction this is going to go? Because if I know.
I think it's going to go.
I don't see us backpedaling into a smoothie challenge this week.
No.
But I also don't know if I see her going for a McDonald's mukbang either, so.
I don't know. I am as curious and as perplexed as you are. For me, this is another side of her. I've never seen her, you know, doing the substance use thing.
This is Stoner Beauty.
Yes, Stoner Beauty. Maybe she should rename her channel again.
I'm here for Stoner Beauty. I don't mind.
Oh, I am too. I would tune into that for sure.
I mean, her channel's not for kids. It's clearly not for kids, so she's not, you know, and she's not promoting anything illegal where she is. So to the extent that she's playing with that, that's whatever. I just find her so much more likable. Isn't that a sin? Isn't that a sin?
I mean, I think I even told you a little earlier. I'm like, you know, she's actually like nice and kind of fun to watch when she's like this.
I mean, you remember, well, I won't say his name, who drank all the time. He was much nicer when he was drunk.
Oh, yes.
If he got sober in the middle of our relationship, I probably would have broke up with him.
I know, right?
Of course, if I did, he would have broke up with me, too.
But in all honesty, for, you know, a serious take on it, I think that introducing, you know, getting stoned for a person who claims she wants to, you know, eat better, live a better lifestyle, I think is a mistake. That's I think she should be doing everything that she can possibly do to give herself some success.
Yeah.
I think this will not give her success as far as the eating part goes. That's just my opinion. I'm not against it either. Not one bit. I'm not against it.
I can't stand people who are slaves to their addictions.
That's what's going to happen. And
makes me sick.
If it's about weight loss, she's not going to lose weight if she's going to continue to, well, you know,
Get high.
Yeah. Just my opinion.
Probably not. Opinion. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. But I tell you what, I love watching her like this.
I do. I hope she doesn't mind that I enjoy it or the reason why I enjoy it, but I do. I'll take it. And my last 2 cents, and I'll end on this. The reason my concern for her using it. I mean, I'm you know, I don't drink I smoke like a dope and I drink coffee and all that stuff, but it's hard to do portion control when you've had some little something. And it takes your inhibitions away. It's like, oh, well, whatever, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'll skip lunch tomorrow. I'll eat well tomorrow. It's very difficult to manage appetite when you take any substance, legal or illegal, or prescription or otherwise, that screws with your hunger. So that's my only cautionary tale for now. I suppose there's the possibility she would switch off and do this exclusively to fill the place that food was filling, but I highly doubt that will happen. So, nor should it. She shouldn't be crutching on shit. But, you know, we all have our crutches, I suppose. We're all just human. So thank you all for watching. It's been a week. It has been a week. Not so much for her, even. This was a very light week for her. But it's been a week in the world for many of us. So, hang in there. We'll be okay. It'll be okay. We'll be okay, right, Mark?
We will all be okay.
We'll all be okay. It'll be okay.
Stay positive, everybody.
Stay positive, if you can. If you can't, I understand for now. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the like button and the bell on your way out so you can get the alerts. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and contact info is all listed down below. Thank you once again, and Mark and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Take care. Say bye to everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.